Welcome back. All right, so I'm going to continue the song list today, and once again, every time I do this list of 50 songs, I immediately erase the board and then put the next 50 songs on the list, and then the list sits for a while. So we're going from 1100 through 1051 on today's countdown. Good with that? Good. Got roughly half an hour till the Canucks and the Tampa Bay Lightning start playing, so I got some time. Number 1100 on the countdown is Everybody Knows by Leonard Cohen, thanks to the movie Pump Up the Volume. Pump Up the Volume was a movie where Christian Slater lived out what was my greatest fantasy at the time. I always wanted to have my own radio station. I always wanted to do that. I still do. I still do. If there was a way for me to just DJ music and have like a couple hours where I do the DJing of music, I'd love to do that. But with copyrights being as they are, so, at any rate, Leonard Cohen's Everybody Knows, which is Canadian content, number 1100. 1099, Give Up the Grudge by Gob. I believe Gob is Canadian as well. Interesting name for a group. I'm not sure how you get there. But anyways, Give Up the Grudge is a fun song from, I believe, the mid to late 90s. And it was one that was on the radio a lot at the time. 1098, Shakira and Wyclef Jean. Hips Don't Lie. I gotta fix something here. But Hips Don't Lie, Shakira, Wyclef Jean. I'm sure that anybody watching this has either heard of it, or they're like, well, I don't really listen to Shakira, so I guess there could be somebody who still hasn't heard it. But Hips Don't Lie is a great song. Fun video. I like Shakira. Still do. 1097, You're the Voice, John Farnham. I don't normally like the anthem type songs. A lot of the songs you're not going to see on this playlist are going to be the anthem type songs, but sometimes they work. And You're the Voice by John Farnham, for some reason, it hit with me right away. It ended up being like number one on my song chart for a couple of weeks there. Yeah, I had my own song chart from about 85. I want to say 85 till 91. I had my own favorite songs, and every week I would do my own favorite songs, and it was 1 through 30. So practicing up for power rankings, I guess. It was just Much Music had a top 30, and I'd watch it and go, nah, this should be the top 30. That's how it all started. So, number 1096, Chris de Burgh, High in Emotion. One song you will not see on my countdown is Lady in Red. I never liked it. I never did. I did not like that song. But High on Emotion by Chris de Burgh, I like quite a bit. It is a good song, and I do feel bad that Chris de Burgh's remembered primarily for Lady in Red at this point. The highlight for Lady in Red is when it gets used in the movie Dodgeball. That's the highlight of that. As the only time that song comes on that I laugh pretty good, and I'm really happy it's come on because it means I'm watching Dodgeball, which means I'm in my happy place. Number 1095, Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA. I absolutely love when people use this in the US as like this is a rallying cry for Americans. I mean, if you only listen to the chorus, sure, but the verses tell quite a different story about coming back from Vietnam as a soldier and being basically disowned by your own country and the struggles that endured for some of those Vietnam veterans coming back. It is not a pretty story. So when I hear it being cited, it is similar to like Rammstein's song America, which, if you translate the words, it doesn't praise the U.S. But anyways, Born in the USA, 1095. 1094 is Nothing More's song Jenny. Nothing More is an interesting act. They're a band that I've seen live twice. I do want to see them again. They're coming to the Commodore, but sadly they're coming to the Commodore on a very busy National Hockey League night, so I'm torn. But Nothing More is one of those bands. They're better live than they are in studio. As in, when I hear their music on the radio or I'm listening to it on Spotify, I don't enjoy it as much as I do live. It's not that I don't like their stuff. I do like their stuff a lot. But live, they kick so much ass. They're absolutely fantastic. They're a great band. So, just going ahead and saying that here. 1093, Living Colors, Cult of Personality, or as it's known now, CM Punk's theme song. Cult of Personality is a fun tune, which is also about, well, it's about the death of Martin Luther King. I don't know how many people necessarily know that it's about the death of Martin Luther King, but it's clearly in there. Not all. I don't think the whole thing's about Martin Luther King. Now, Pride in the Name of Love by U2, which I don't believe we've got to yet. That one definitely is Martin Luther King. But anyways, um, 1093. 1092, What You Gonna Do by Chilliwack. One of the most irritating songs, I'm sure, for people in my life back then, because I sang it all the time. I was in Chilliwack, so bands releasing songs and they had that name. I'm like, cool, Chilliwack. And the video for My Girl Gone 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 was filmed at Chilliwack Airport, I do believe. So, yeah, What You Gonna Do by Chilliwack. It is on the list. My Girl Gone 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 hasn't shown up yet, but it will. Yeah, What You Gonna Do? Moni Moni by Billy Idol is number 1091. You either know what to sing during the verses or you have no idea what I'm talking about. There is no in between. And singing that during the questionable lyrics that get inserted into right between each line of the song. I remember watching my middle school vice principal, bopping around to the song. And it's like, he doesn't even know what we're saying. Man, what a goon, what a goober. And then my friend, who happened to be she was the class president. She had been singing those lyrics as well. And then she had to excuse herself to the restroom, and the vice principal stopped her on the way out and said, "Are those words really becoming of a class president?" Like something along those lines. Basically letting her know, yeah, no, I know exactly what you kids are singing out there, and what's he gonna do, really? But we figured, he's old, he won't know. He won't know what we're all singing out. He knew. 1090, Tear by Rammstein. Tear is a very dark song. Tear is it's one of those songs Rammstein does that tells a story. There are songs of Rammstein's that tell a story, and they're not usually happy stories. They're not usually uplifting, but they're interesting. And Rammstein is very good at weaving this tale. Tear is kind of messed up. Just going to say, if you translate it, it's kind of messed up. But it's a really good song. It is, it's pretty hard hitting, that one. 1089, John Parr, St. Elmo's Fire. The only John Parr song you're going to get, because I think he was a one-hit wonder. St. Elmo's Fire, Man in Motion, is a song that is about Rick Hansen. So it was used in the movie St. Elmo's Fire, obviously, but it's written about Rick Hansen. That's why it's the lyrics go as they do. All I need is this pair of wheels. It's about Rick Hansen. And once you know it's about Rick Hansen, all the lyrics make a lot of sense. Great story. Guy travels around the world to raise money, and he did really well for charities. Most schools in this area are either named Terry Fox or Rick Hansen, it seems. One or the other. Terry Fox and Rick Hansen, the most popular Canadians, period. Number 1088, Jennifer Lopez, Play. I got it stuck in my head now. Video's great for that one too, and it is one song of Jennifer Lopez that I absolutely love. I think it's fantastic. Jennifer Lopez is an interesting story. I don't know if she ever would have become a pop star without the movie Selena. Because the movie Selena, she played the title character, who, of course, tragically died. And then she became a pop star after. And so I don't know if she would have become a pop star without that movie. But Play, I think that's the only song of hers that's on the chart. I think it's the only one. Number 1087, Death Stars, Blitzkrieg. Death Stars is an interesting story. They were opening for Rammstein in Europe. So I started listening to their stuff, and then they didn't open for Rammstein in North America on that same tour. So Blitzkrieg's a fun song. I'm glad I listened to their stuff, but I kind of felt like it was all for naught. So there you go. But that's how much I enjoy Rammstein. I find out somebody's opening for them, I immediately go check out their stuff, and I'm usually a fan. Apocalyptica, I believe how I discovered them was them playing Mein Herz Brennt with Rammstein was, I think, one of the ways that I was introduced to Apocalyptica. I'm trying to think of it now. But I will say this, having seen Apocalyptica live now, they are fantastic. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Just, seriously, I don't know how they weren't being headlined, at least somewhat, for that Hailstorm concert. Because of the three artists I saw, I enjoyed Apocalyptica the most. 1086, Black Velvet by Alana Miles. Gotta have some Canadian content in here, don't we? Black Velvet is Canadian. It is about Elvis Presley, absolutely. And it is Alana Miles, one song that still gets played absolutely everywhere all the time. She had other hit songs in Canada. I don't think she had another hit song in the States. Um, she had some good tunes along the way. I liked Alana Miles, and Black Velvet is kind of one of those timeless songs. 1085, Filter. Take a picture. Filter, a band that I really enjoyed as well. I'd really love to see them live. That's one band that if they were touring, I'd be like, yep, got to go see Filter. Absolutely have to. There are so many of their songs I really, really enjoy. So, Take a Picture was probably their biggest hit in terms of mainstream success. It's not their best song, but it was probably their biggest hit. Number 1084, Another Life, Motionless in White. Motionless in White is an extremely popular band in this house. Everybody in this house likes them. I don't mind them. I don't like them as much, I don't think, as like especially Gabriel and Yvonne. Just absolutely love Motionless in White. But they're good. And of course, they do play the theme song for Rhea Ripley. Rhea's face paint doesn't look entirely unlike Chris Motionless's makeup when he performs. So, Another Life. 1083, Nelly Furtado, Turn Off the Light. More Canadian content. Nelly Furtado, I talked about how much I like her. Turn Off the Light's another song that I like quite a bit. It's off the same album as I'm Like a Bird. I do like this one, though, and it's got a fun little video to it as well, if you haven't seen that one. I have not done the playlist, and I apologize for not having a playlist of all the videos. At some point in time, I'll go through YouTube and just start tagging them all and make a playlist and all that. Number 1082, The Pretty Reckless, Take Me Down. Pretty Reckless are awesome. I remember when Taylor Momsen was like, okay, she's starting, she's going to be in a rock band. I remember thinking, come on. This is silly. She's an actress. What? And then I was quieted very quickly. Pretty Reckless are fantastic. They are opening for AC/DC again, coming through Vancouver. I don't think I'm going to this one either, but at least I'm considering it. Pretty Reckless are fantastic. Taylor Momsen's absolutely fantastic as well. They are one of those bands I really, really want to see live. Number 1081, Heart, If Looks Could Kill. If Looks Could Kill was off the same album as like What About Love, Never, big hits like that. I thought If Looks Could Kill was badass. I just did. I thought it was a really badass kind of song. I thought it was fun. Kind of a little more sinister than the rest of the album. And I was okay with that. I think Ann and Nancy Wilson do some of their best work when they're not necessarily all that happy. A lot of artists are like that, though, aren't they? So, yeah, If Looks Could Kill. I don't think that one was ever a single either. 1080, Warlock, All We Are. I found this one. This one was on... I'm trying to think, did I find it through YouTube or was it on TV? And they started playing. I was like, oh, right on. And Yvonne had never heard it. And halfway through, I was like, this is from the 80s. And she's like, are you sure? Kind of reaction. Warlock, Doro Pesch. Doro Pesch was one of my original favorites out of Germany. Absolutely amazing. And All We Are is very repetitive. It does tell you what the song's name is about 85 billion times. But it's a fun song. It's one of those ones. It is hair metal. It's very 80s. Doro Pesch had hair metal hair as well, so it all worked. And I don't think I ever saw her not dressed in either black leather, black spandex. She was just always, it was usually black head to toe. Number, you gotta just keep that look, right? Number 1079, Baby Metal and Poppy, From Me to You. This is a new song. Yeah, I know, it's weird, isn't it? Most of these songs are ancient. But while Poppy is hit and miss for me, Poppy, there's some really good songs from them. There's some others I'm not as huge a fan of. But Baby Metal, From Me to You, it's a good song. I did hear that one live. It was weird live, though, because they still had all of the vocals from the other artists who weren't there. So that did make it a little different. But Baby Metal concerts, a little different, which is okay. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. I shouldn't be quoting DDP. This isn't wrestling. But yeah, Baby Metal, From Me to You. I do like that one. Number 1078, Flyleaf, I'm So Sick. Flyleaf has some good tunes. And Flyleaf has that distinction, too, of being, I do believe they're still a Christian metal band. And some good songs from them. I'm So Sick, I think, is the only one that I have on this chart. but they do have some good ones other than that as well. So yeah, I'm So Sick is on the chart. Sorry, I just Cinnabon's got a bag of hay, and what I like to do is make sure she has access to that bag of hay. Rabbits are supposed to eat hay. That's supposed to be a majority of their diet. So I like to make her think she's getting away with something by just leaving the bag there, and then she eats straight out of the bag. But sometimes she makes a lot of noise chewing on the plastic of the bag, which totally destroys the purpose. So I have to go over and adjust it. All right, number 1077, Depeche Mode. People Are People. People Are People. I remember when that came out in '84, and pretty sure it was '84. And right away, I was a very big fan of Depeche Mode because they sounded very different. And it is not a coincidence that all these years later, so many groups cover Depeche Mode. And there are so many of their songs that have been covered because they're so unique, they're so different. And what I like with their songs too, including People Are People, is that the covers can just take a totally different tactic in how they put it together, and it can sound very, very different and still very good. Depeche Mode, I think, were ahead of their time just a little bit. Number 1076, The Cult, Wild Hearted Son. Not my favorite song from The Cult, but still a pretty good one, and a fun one from, it was the album after Firewoman came out, I believe, where we got Wild Hearted Son. I'm trying to think, I used to know the name of that album too, but anyways. I never had the album, that's why I'm not all that sure. The albums that I had from The Cult were their greatest hits and their self-titled album, which has like the goat on the front, which was my favorite Cult album, and it's one of my favorite albums of all time, and almost everybody hated it. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with me going, I really like this album, and everybody else goes, boo. That's what we think of this album. Boo. Number 1075, Def Leppard's Photograph. It was overplayed then. Sometimes it gets overplayed now. It's probably a bit overrated by some, but Photograph is an interesting tune. I believe that one's about Marilyn Monroe. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure Photograph, Def Leppard. I'm thinking of the video. Yeah, it's about Marilyn Monroe. But yeah, it's a good tune. I'm still making sure Yvonne isn't outside. I'm still a fan of Def Leppard. I still listen to them. Number 1074, Party Rock Anthem by LMFAO. LMFAO, two-hit wonder. Yep, two absolute bangers. Absolutely. Party Rock Anthem. You've heard it. You've heard it at every sporting event for over a decade now. It's been played plenty in commercials. It gets used a lot, and there's a reason. It's very catchy. It's a lot of fun. It's not as fun as Sexy and I Know It, which is higher up on the countdown than this, but Party Rock Anthem 1074. 1073 is Blur's Song 2. Overplayed, yep. Probably a bit overrated at the time, absolutely. Blur was not a one-hit wonder, though you would be forgiven for thinking that they were, because this is the song of theirs that gets played all the time, and none of their other songs get airplay in North America. And I'm saying that because in Europe, I know they were bigger than they were in North America. Definitely a lot more Blur played in the UK than over here. But Song 2 is the one that still gets played. It's the one they're known for. 1072, Ace of Base, All That She Wants. Is another baby. Yep. All That She Wants, Ace of Base. Different kind of subject matter. Good band out of Sweden. Couple of young men, couple of young ladies in the band when they came over, and it's like, hey, two guys, two girls, and they're from Sweden. That's a very unique idea. Haven't seen that before, ABBA. But yeah, they were a good band in their own right, and they had some fun songs. So, All That She Wants, number 1072. 1071, The Motels, Suddenly Last Summer. The Motels are one of those bands that I wasn't a huge fan of in the 80s, that I became more of a fan of as years went by, and I appreciated their songs more. That's how the Motels are ahead of some Rammstein songs on this. Suddenly Last Summer is very different, very 80s, is very 80s, because it was released in the 80s, so it's very 80s, but it is a good tune. Number 1070, Rap Game, D12 and 50 Cent. Rap Game is, it's a good rap tune. I don't really listen to rap music anymore, and it's not that I throw my nose up at it or I don't like rap. It's just the songs I hear now, either they're mumbling and I don't know what they're singing about, or it's just a bunch of swearing and just a bunch of words I can't repeat, and it's just kind of, Which, and I mean, the words I can't repeat were in rap music going all the way back to the 80s, but now it just feels very, I don't know, it's just really, really over the top. And it's hard for me to find a song that I go, that I really like. Although Hollywood Undead's still doing some good stuff. And if Cypress Hill releases another album at some point, I'd definitely give it a listen. But in general, I don't listen to rap as much as I used to. This was right around this time where D12 was really big. That's basically where it peaked, where I was listening to a lot of it. Number 1069, Michelle Branch, Everywhere. I have loved Michelle Branch it's been over 2 decades, I think, for Michelle Branch. I would still absolutely love to go see her if she came here in concert. Michelle Branch, to me, I loved her voice. The videos were good. The songs were uplifting. I know she's had some legal issues over the last couple of years. It doesn't change that I'd like to see her in concert. It doesn't change that I'd love to see her in concert, to be honest. I don't think it'll ever happen, but Everywhere is a good song. You're going to see Michelle Branch on this list at least one more time. That's 1069. 1068, CKY, Escape from Hellview. I was talking about CKY with Yvonne not too long ago, and we discussed how CKY were huge all of a sudden, and then they kind of just weren't. They were just gone. It was weird. And Escape from Hellview was Resident Evil Apocalypse? No, it was Nemesis. Yeah. Right? Was it Apocalypse? The one with the Nemesis program? Anyways, I think so. Yeah, Escape from Hellview. Yeah, I think so. But it's a good song. And that's kind of how I discovered CKY, was through them being used in that soundtrack. And so I went and tracked down their songs, and I'm like, these are all good. And not only that, I was like, all of these songs could be about zombies. These are great. Some of their songs, I thought, you could put zombies in there. You could do that. So anyway, CKY. Number 1067, Sabrina Carpenter, Espresso. Sabrina Carpenter, she is going to be a star for a long, long time. She's very smart. What she does in her career is very smart, and every song that she releases, I know people focus on her being scantily clad in her videos. Check out the lyrics. The lyrics of her songs are usually funny, clever, and not necessarily complimentary of the people she's had in her love life, but she's entertaining. Her songs are definitely different, and I do have 2 of her albums now. So as soon as I saw people like, oh, this new album cover of hers is just so offensive, I'm like, all right, I'll just buy it. I'll just buy it. Because, I mean, honestly, if you want offensive album covers, I could crank out like 20 of them from the 80s, at least. People forget. I swear, people forget this stuff. They see things, this imagery now, and they go, this is just gross. And I'm like, you guys all remember? You guys remember the stuff because it's usually people in my age range that are complaining, and I'm thinking, they don't remember the stuff we had growing up. In 1066 spot, we have Fire It Up by Busta Rhymes. Now, I'm going to admit, if you listen to it, the way that the words are kind of all pushed together, it almost sounds like Fart Up. It gets kind of close to Fart Up. And once I pointed that out to my kids 20 years ago, at any rate, Busta Rhymes, like I said, I listened to rap music at this point in time. Busta, I thought, was fun. Fire It Up was one of those fun songs. I mean, if you're going to sample Knight Rider, the Knight Rider theme, I'm probably going to enjoy it. I still love the Knight Rider theme. It's not on the list because then I'd have to include like Star Wars music and music from all kinds of soundtracks, and it just becomes a mess. But Fire It Up's right there. Number 1065, Black Sabbath's only entry on the list, and it's Paranoid. Paranoid is an excellent song. Guitar Hero won my kids over to it back in the day as well. So there you go. But yeah, Paranoid is a great song, and you know, Ozzy, may he rest in power. Absolutely fantastic singing on that one by Ozzy. Number 1064, Pearl Jam, Jeremy. Jeremy's an important song, and it's a video that is disturbing, and yet it is. I don't know the beautiful's the right term, but the cinematography in it is very well done, and it really pulls you in. And by the end of that video, you're like, wow. So Jeremy definitely spoke in class today, and things didn't go well. I do really enjoy that song, and I really enjoy the finish of that song. I think the way that Jeremy starts out kind of slow and it builds its way up, they do that with Black as well. Black is really high on this countdown, but Jeremy had to be on this. Number 1063, Can I Play with Madness by Iron Maiden. Love this song a lot. Um, it was one song that came out at a time where I was kind of on the fence with Iron Maiden. Like, well, I kind of like them, I kind of don't. But Can I Play with Madness and Stranger in a Strange Land won me over to them 100%. And then I went back, listened to some of their older stuff. I'm like, yeah, no, they're good. But Can I Play with Madness, 1063. 1062, Avril Lavigne's Complicated. Yes, it was overplayed. Absolutely it was. But Avril Lavigne, in my eyes, can kind of do no wrong. And Complicated's a fun little simple tune. And yeah, it's a fun song. Number 1061, Shiny Toy Guns, La Disco. Bands that I thought should have been a much bigger deal. Shiny Toy Guns would be one of the top bands for that. Man. Ricochet is higher on the list than this one. Ricochet is just such an absolute banger. When I was putting this list together, I rediscovered Shiny Toy Guns. It was sort of like my brain had kind of forgotten. I went, right, Shiny Toy. I love these guys. So that's why La Disco is on the board. And you will see other Shiny Toy Gun songs as well. They're a band that if they were touring, I would be anxious to get tickets. Number 1060, Canadian content, Men Without Hats, Safety Dance. So I've talked about Men Without Hats in the first video in this playlist, and now we'll talk about Safety Dance. It is an extremely fun song that I didn't like initially. I don't know. I guess I was just trying to be rebellious. I don't like that one that everybody else likes. But I did get one over. And one of my favorite Homer Simpson lines ever, we can dance, everybody look at your pants. Absolutely. And so when I hear that song, I will say that at least once while that song is playing. Everybody look at your pants. Because Homer looks down at his pants. All right, 1059 is the Beastie Boys. Mentioned rap, didn't I? 3 MCs and 1 DJ. Great song. Great song. Absolutely fantastic banger of a song. Beastie Boys do appear on this list again. Fight for Your Right to Party. I don't think it's on the list. I don't think it's on the list. If it was, I think it's already been shown on the board. Anyways, 3 MCs and 1 DJ is a very good song. Number 1058, Type O Negative, Cinnamon Girl. Type O Negative is a band that there's a difference of opinion in this house on. I am a big fan. The wife is not, so I don't listen to Type O Negative as much as I would probably like to. Cinnamon Girl is a really good song. Pretty sure that was a cover as well, but Type O Negative did it well. Yeah, I ended up being a really, really big fan. My ex was a big fan of Type O Negative. She won me over to them, and I still listen to them on occasion. Number 1057, Queen, Keep Yourself Alive. From their first album, and it's a catchy tune. You can hear some of the styles in that song that are going to be very prominent later on with their music. Keep Yourself Alive is a good one. And it was used in the biopic as well that came out a few years ago on Freddie Mercury. And I believe that was the first song they ever recorded was Keep Yourself Alive. I don't think the movie showed it that way, but I think Keep Yourself Alive was the first song they ever recorded. I seem to remember something in their greatest hits where I was reading something about that. Anyways, number 1056, Eurythmics, There Must Be an Angel. Eurythmics, they lasted for a long time. They were a very good band, and their songs still get played at music or at sporting events, and just at public events as well. Eurythmics, their music kind of spanned various genres. It's not quite pop, like they're kind of pop, but not quite. Even Sweet Dreams is kind of pop, but there's still that sinister side. That's why metal bands can cover it. But yeah, so There Must Be an Angel. Number 1055, Cinderella, Nobody's Fool. I had a Cinderella band shirt. When metal t-shirts started to become a thing in the 80s, and other guys were walking around with Metallica and Megadeth, I had Def Leppard and Cinderella shirts. So, yeah. It didn't stop me getting bullied. I don't know that it made it worse, but it's hard for people to beat you up if they're laughing. So I still to this day think Nobody's Fool is a good song. I still to this day thought Cinderella was a pretty good band. Although as the years went along, they got quieter and there was some country kind of twang getting in there too. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm not You guys might be trying to gateway me into country, but I'm not falling for it. But Nobody's Fool, good song. 1054, Laura Branigan's Solitaire. I've talked about my crush on Laura Branigan previously. I will say again, Laura Branigan, one of the most beautiful singers I ever saw, who also had one of the most beautiful voices I ever heard. Absolute shame that she's not still with us. But her music's still there. It still lives on. And Solitaire is an underrated song. Number 1053, Sliver. No, not Sliver. No, Silver. If I could just read what I wrote on the board. Silver by Moist. Moist is Canadian, so if you haven't heard of them, it's because they're Canadian. Good band. They weren't around as long as I had expected them to be. And Silver was a song that I thought was their best one to that point, and I thought there was going to be a lot of great things to come. And then, I mean, they still tour. I know the lead singer went out on his own, and he toured for a long time. He did a lot of stuff, but for me, Silver is still, I believe, the highest on the list. Number 1052, Pat Benatar's Heartbreaker. You know it. You can sing it. You probably know all the words. It's on the chart. Pat Benatar did a lot of really, really good songs, and Heartbreaker, I mean, I knew that one when I was like 10 years old. So I was singing that when I was a 10-year-old. 1051, He's Back, The Man Behind the Mask by Alice Cooper. So Friday the 13th, Part 6, great movie. Absolutely fantastic movie for a Friday the 13th movie, and Alice Cooper doing some music for it made it kind of fun. So He's Back, The Man Behind the Mask is on the chart. It's not there because of ironic reasons. It's there because I like the song. So there you go. You guys are all caught up to 1051. We only have 21 more videos to go on this list. And I will keep going. And at some point, I'm going to pick up those WrestleMania reviews and do them again. And pick up where I left off. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. I will talk to you again soon. And thanks for watching.